Information on this case is very limited because of how old it is, so apologies in advance if I miss anything out. Feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. Hey, it's Mel, I hope you're doing well and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, it's lovely to have you here. Today we're going to be looking at the disappearance of Marvin Clark. This is one of America's most oldest active missing persons cases. Marvin Alvin Clark was born in circa Marion City, Iowa in 1852. However, some sources say that he was born in 1851 or 1857. His parents were both from New York and Marvin was a highly educated man. He graduated from 2 universities. Marvin had a wife called Mary and together they had 4 children. Throughout his life, Marvin worked 7 different jobs. At one point he was a farmer as well as a town marshal, once in Nebraska and later in Linton, Oregon. By 1926, Marvin and his wife settled down in Tigard, Oregon, about 10 miles south of Portland. The couple lived there for 15 years and Marvin was well known in the area. Everything seemed to be going well for Marvin, with his kids all grown up living their own lives. He and his wife lived alone in their home and they lived a very quiet and normal life. However, on the 30th of October 1926, a day before Halloween, Marvin, who at this point was in his early 70s, left his home in Tigard at 1 p.m. and set off for Portland to visit his daughter, Mrs. Sidney Dougal, who was a resident and manager of the Hereford Hotel at 735 Hoyt Street in northwest Portland. Marvin travelled by stagecoach alone. The next day, Mary got in contact with Sidney and discovered that Marvin never arrived at his daughter's house, and she had no idea he was ever coming. Marvin's intentions this day are just unknown. No one knows what he was planning. Marvin was seen at the terminal on Yamhill Street in downtown Portland, dressed in a black suit and slacks. This was the last reported sighting of him. The police did a massive search and everyone kept their eye out. On the 9th of November, the Bellington Herald newspaper in Washington reported that Mary received a disconnected postcard that was written by Martin and was postmarked in Bellingham. A few people saw Marvin at 2 different hotels in the area on the 2nd and 3rd of November. The written postcard indicated that Marvin's mind was wandering and he was not himself. By the 11th of November, Sidney put up a reward of $1,000 for any information leading to her dad's discovery. Marvin suffered with paralysis and he couldn't properly use his right arm. He also walked with a limp. The police hoped this detail would lead to his discovery. It's possible that Marvin went to Portland to visit his doctor and then go see his daughter afterwards. Around the time that Marvin disappeared, his doctor was actually in Portland. Today, Charles would be around 177 years old. Early in the investigation, Marvin's family were afraid that he had been badly injured or killed by an enemy that he made while serving time as a marshal. There is one theory that while on the way to Portland, Marvin had an accident and he just suffered from amnesia. To me, that's a bit far-fetched. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. I just wake up with fucking amnesia, and there's not much evidence to confirm this theory. In early November, Marvin's son Grover, who was living with his wife, got a letter from his dad that was postmarked once again in Bellingham. This letter also indicated that Marvin's mind was wandering. On the day of Marvin's disappearance, he didn't take a coat with him when he set off to Portland. Fast forward to 1986, a new story broke out. On the 10th of May, nearly 60 years after Marvin's disappearance, loggers found a human skeleton in the woods near Skepos, Oregon, about 20 miles north of Portland. The body had no ID and was referred to as John Doe, and 7 personal items were found nearby, including an 1888 nickel and a 1919 penny. A corroded revolver was also found near the body, and the man died from a single gunshot wound through his skull. His death was ruled as a suicide. The body was also found close to Linton, where Marvin worked as a marshal. A few days later, a woman called Dorothy Willoughby said that the body might belong to her grandfather, Marvin Clark. Based on information that Dorothy had gotten from her family members, Marvin was depressed due to health problems that left him partially paralysed. The medical examiner said that the body appeared to be of a man younger than Marvin would have been when he went missing. Then in 2011, the John Doe 1986 case and Marvin's case was looked over again. 6 months later, through DNA test, it was revealed that the body did not belong to Marvin. Some people believe that while, Marvin was on his journey to Portland, a bunch of men robbed him, shot him, and then buried him deep in the ground, and that's why his body has never been found. Marvin has still not been found. As far as I'm aware, the case is still actively open. I would like to sit here and say that something will come up, and his family can get reassurance, but some cases as old as this one don't have a positive outcome. As I said, information is limited, and that's just left us with a whole bunch of questions. This is why I hate unsolved mysteries, like unsolved true crime. Even though it fascinates me, it also just irritates me because there's no answers. I'm not sure what happened to him. So that's all for today. That was the baffling and unsolved disappearance of Marvin Clark. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.